أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا رسول الله. صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله. يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا نجاة الأمة وعبرة كل مؤمن ومؤمنة ما خاب والله من تمسك بكم وأمن من لجأ إليكم. سادتي يا ليتنا كنا معكم فنفوز معكم فوزا عظيما. قال الله في محكم كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. كمثل الشيطان إذ قال للإنسان اكفر فلما كفر قال إني بريء منك إني أخاف الله رب العالمين. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Sweeten and revive your gatherings with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The second, for the sake of the love of Fatima alayha afdal as-salatu was-salam. The third salawat, for the love of Imam Hussein, with the loudest of your voices. Counter-Strike, a game created and developed in the year 1999. A game of two oppositions, terrorist and counter-terrorist. The mission and goal of every single team, the terrorist team, to kill and end the mission of the counter-terrorists by plotting a bomb on any side of the map to eliminate and kill the counter-terrorists, and the mission and the goal of the counter-terrorist team to eliminate every single hostile terrorist and to defuse the bomb within the game period. Around the world, this game has sold 25 million copies, and children and youth and adolescents become teams and clans and bet thousands of dollars into tournaments around the world. But through this game, we can have a lesson, and we could learn a lesson. How? If you are a counter-terrorist and someone gave you intel in a tournament that where the terrorist team was attacking and what side of the map they would attack from, how many of them and where they would place the bomb, would it not be so much easier for you to win the championships within the game? Would it not give you the upper hand within the game so you can become victorious? The game is called Counter-Strike. Today we will talk about countering Shaitan and his ways of attacks on the sons of Adam. Very similar, brothers and sisters, in the way of life. If a person had the information in a battle where he was attacked on his turf or his soil, and he had information, how many cavalry, how many horsemen, how many swordsmen, and what type of weaponry the enemy had, it would be much easier for him to win the battle and to become victorious. Whether you are a king of Persia or Rome or Athens, we have read through history of great battles that took place for kings losing their kingdoms and emperors losing their empire because they lacked the skills or they lacked the information where the enemy was attacking from. For example, the Battle of Huyi in the year 1046 before Christ. The small Zhao army defeated a very huge dynasty by the name of the Shang dynasty. A very small army prepares and goes and takes down an empire. When this emperor finds that a small army has become victorious upon his large army, he commits suicide, and it becomes the end of his dynasty and the end of the Zhao dynasty. The Battle of the Marathon in the year 490 BC, where a large Persian army was defeated by a small Athenian army. And the examples are numerous and various from the time that man has existed on this earth until the day of judgment. There will be many battles and many men losing and many men becoming victorious. But not all the time larger numbers or the more powerful army becomes victorious. The army with more information and more intel is the one that becomes victorious. We see a battle between the dynasty, the Ming dynasty, in the year 1449, defeated 500,000 troops of the Ming dynasty, defeated by 20,000 soldiers of the Mongol troops. 20,000 Mongols defeat 500,000 soldiers. 500,000 soldiers, because they played their cards correctly, because they knew where the enemy would attack. They knew how the enemy would attack, so they prepared for an ambush, or they prepared for the diversion, and they became victorious. We as human beings and the sons of Adam, we also have a common enemy. An enemy that swore vengeance against our father Adam alayhi salatu wassalam. The Quran says, كم من فئة قليلة غلبت فئة كثيرة. How many times throughout history have we seen and we witnessed that a small group of individuals can become victorious and defeat a much larger army and a much larger force? We, the sons of Adam, every day of our lives, we are in a battle against Shaitan. Shaitan, created of fire, lived amongst the angels that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had created and in the heavens. He worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for millions and millions of years. For millions of years he would worship Allah in prostration. Millions of years he would stand and make qunut and supplication to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was the only creature made out of fire, living amongst the creation that was made out of light, and those are the angels. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam out of clay. And then he ordered all of his creations to bow down to Adam. Satan refused. Iblis refused to bow down to Adam. He said, I am a more stronger component and creature. You have made him out of clay, and you have made me out of fire. Why do I need to bow down to a weaker substance or to a weaker creature? And on the other hand, I have been worshiping you for millions and millions of years, so that I have reached the ranks of the angels. I am absolutely clean and pure. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him, there is no way, you need to bow down to Adam. He refuses. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala eternally curses him, and he vows to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I will destroy Adam. You created Adam as a representative for yourself, so I will destroy Adam with my hand. I will destroy the sons of Adam from this moment until the day of judgment. So you and I, brothers and sisters, we have an enemy. We have an enemy that attacks us every day of our lives. From the time we become old enough to understand our surroundings, to the time that we grow old and they carry us from our deathbeds to our graves. So what do? Are there examples and stories that we can learn from so we can defeat our enemy? We do not allow shaitan and Iblis to become victorious in our lives and have us astray from the teachings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and end up in eternal doom and hellfires. There's a story of a girl, historians say, before the days of Islam, at the time of the Arabs. Her name was Zarqa al-Yamam. Zarqa al-Yamam was known to have a very strong eyesight. Eyesight for her to see as far as miles and kilometers, 10, 20 miles away from her city. She protected her city for years and years, because every time an enemy would try to attack the city of Zarqa al-Yamam, Zarqa al-Yamam would tell them, I see troops coming, I see horsemen, I see 100 cavalry, I see 100 swordsmen, 200 spearsmen. And her people would prepare and they would defeat any army that would come towards their city and towards their walls. One day Zarqa al-Yamam, she's sitting on top of one of the houses. She tells her people that I see palm trees coming towards us. They start mocking her. They laugh at her. What do you mean there's palm trees and leaves coming towards us? There's an army of leaves that's going to come and fight us. So none of them go and wear their armors or prepare for battle. By the time they reach the walls and the gates of the city of Zarqa al-Yamam, they see that this army of thousands of men are holding palm tree leaves as covers and decoy and camouflage. By the time they reach the city, they drop the leaves and they enter the city of Zarqa al-Yamam and they destroy everyone. So if we have a person that could tell us and direct us towards the attacks of shaitan and how shaitan will attack, we can become victorious over shaitan if we prepare ourselves for the battle. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warns us, the sons of Adam, many times throughout the Quran. He says, O the sons of Adam, إِنَّهُ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌ مُبِينٌ. O the sons of Adam, shaitan is your enemy. He's your open enemy. He's not shy about it. He does not hide his envy and hate towards you, your father, or your kind. He's out there to get us, brothers and sisters. If you know as a person, someone comes and tells you there's a person here to kill you, wouldn't you want to know how he looks like? What kind of weapon he's using, how tall he is, how he looks, what type of accent he has, his whereabouts, where he lives, where his home is, what his skin color is? You're going to ask because you're going to fear for your life. Why is it that we do not ask of the whereabouts and the characteristics and the ways of the shaitan, so we cannot be attacked by the shaitan. Inshallah, today in the majlis of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein and the barakah of Imam Hussein, we will try to figure out how to counter the attacks of shaitan with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So if you knew there is a person out there to get you, sometimes we have Amber Alerts that there is someone out in the city, he's a rapist, he's a molester, he's a killer, he's on the loose. And you get a text message from the government, right? There's a person, he's 5'8", he's on the loose, he's brown, he has brown eye color, red hair. So you can be alert of an attack. You do not fall in the trap of such villain or criminal. So what are the characteristics of shaitan and iblis? What are the ways that he will attack us with? Things that we need to know about our enemy, the enemy of our father and our mother, Adam and Eve. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exiled Satan and Iblis from paradise, and he swore a vow to destroy the sons of Adam, he says, Rabbi bima aghwaytani لأزينن لهم في الأرض ولأغوينهم أجمعين. Oh Allah, because you have removed me of my position amongst the angels, I worshipped you for millions of years. I will destroy the sons of Adam by placing as many ornaments, any pleasures, as much as pleasures and seductions in this world that they live in. I will surround them with pleasures and seductions and ornaments and beauty and temptations. So everywhere they go, they are tempted. The world is seducing them. The world is tempting them. From the morning they open their eyes to the time they sleep, every day I will tempt them to commit a crime, to commit a sin, so they do not reach the status that you have created them for. إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ Khalifa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the human beings and the sons of Adam to be representatives of Allah and God. He says that I pray a vow that the sons of Adam will never reach that complete stage of being a representative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I will place as many temptations in their daily lives. He goes to work, he sees cash on the table, the boss is not around. Should I take? Should I not take? This is free money. Temptation. Temptations and temptations allure us from every single direction of life. And this is a promise by shaitan. May Allah curse him. Now how does he attack us? Does he attack from the back? Like some people who are hypocrites, they do not come stand in front of you and fight like men? Or does he come sneaking up upon you, or he comes from the front and attacks you? Like a man who has the audacity to stand and fight. He says that I will come to them from the back, from the front, from every single direction, and I will attack them. The Quran says, ثُمَّ لَآتِيَنَّهُمْ مِنْ بَيْنَ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ وَمِنْ أَيْمَانِهِمْ وَمِنْ شُمَالِهِمْ. I will come from every direction. I will ambush them. I will ambush them. Everywhere they will look, there is a sign of shaitan and iblis, and a temptation of shaitan and iblis there to get us, there to make us fall, there to trap us, to ambush us. Just like we witnessed throughout history, great and strong countries and civilizations and empires break down because of a simple ambush, and armies fall because of a simple ambush. Shaitan will make the strongest of individuals, those who we even think to be the most religious, most pious in the community to fall. We've seen it through history and the stories of Bani Israel, through the times of the prophets, the times of the imams, people who were close to the prophets, people who were close to the imams, the people who had heard the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the tongues and the mouths of the messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Ahlul Bayt to fall in the traps of shaitan. Now what does Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam say about this verse? That he will attack us from every direction. How is it that he attacks us from every direction without us realizing? Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam says, I will make it in a way for them not to care about the akhirah. He says, you know, I'm 30 years old. I have so much time to repent. One day I was at the majlis and I heard the Mawlana say a hadith by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that says, if a person repents 1 year before his death, I will grant him forgiveness. If a person repents 1 month before he dies and passes away, I will grant him forgiveness. If a person repents and asks for forgiveness 1 day before his death, I will grant him forgiveness. And at the end, if a person asks for forgiveness a split second before his death, I will grant him for forgiveness. So I heard the Mawlana say this. These are the words of Allah. I have a long time. I'm 25 years old. I'm 17 years old. I'm 60. I'll live to be 70. I have 10 more years. I have 15 more years. I have 2 more days. And we start thinking and devaluing the akhirah, not giving value to the akhirah, not giving the value it deserves, because we forget death can come to us at any moment, any second, young or old, man or woman, weak or strong, black or brown, it doesn't matter. Death can come at any moment. We have seen children pass away in our communities, teenagers pass away in our communities. Not only elderly who have turned gray and wrinkled. So Amir al-Mu'mineen says that he will tell them and show them a way and make them feel comfortable about not giving value and appreciation for the day of judgment or their akhirah and their hisab when they stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or when they enter their grave and the 2 angels come to them and start questioning them of everything they did in their life. They start not giving that value. And then Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam says that also shaitan will tell them to gather as much wealth, to run after wealth, to run after assets, to run after prestige, after golden coins, after $100 bills, and then place greed in their hearts. You see him work day and night, day in out, but he doesn't spend a penny. If you tell him, give me a penny, it's like you're ripping part of his arteries out of his heart. There are such individuals in our communities. We know it. We witness it. They might be our uncles, our fathers, our brothers, but such individuals exist in our communities. I remember I was in a community. There was a person who they told me was worth over $400 million. And when they told him to give a donation, it was so hard for him to come and write a check for $200. His hands were shaking as if he had Parkinson's. And he puts greed in their hearts. He makes them misers, only thinking about this dunya. How much can I gather? How much can I have? وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ الَّذِي جَمَعَ مَالًا وَعَدَّدَهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warns us in the Quran for those people who gather their wealth just to count their numbers. They just sit, count the numbers. He doesn't even use it. You see him wear the same shirt for the past 10 years and the same jacket. He doesn't even buy new clothes for himself or his family. He just piles up the money. For what? For no reason. There was a person who was a custodian of one of the harams and the shrines of one of the imams. This person was also very infatuated with gold, because people would bring gold and jewelry from India, Pakistan, and from all around the world. He had a very huge place where he would place his gold. He had a great chest, and that chest was filled with jewelry, with golden coins and jewelry from all around the world that people had brought as a gift for the imams. He was the custodian, so every day when someone would bring the money, he would sit and count every single dollar. He would weigh every single ounce of gold. To a time, it came in his life that this gold and silver and jewelry controlled him to a point that if a day came by and a person did not bring any gold or silver or jewelry to the haram, he would become sick and ill. He doesn't see gold, he becomes sick and ill. He would not sleep in his bed, he would sleep on top of the chest. He would sleep on top of the chest so no one comes and touches his gold or silver. A day comes, he becomes very ill. He's ill for a week, 10 days, 2 weeks. They become worried of him. His servant says that I know the way to cure this man. They say how? She says, leave it to me, I'll know what to do. She goes and prepares the shower. She tells him, Fulan, you haven't showered in about 2-3 days. I prepared the hot water for you. Go and take a shower. This is not today. It's like 60, 70 years ago. So hot water was very nice. So she goes, prepares the shower for him, the bath for him. He goes, takes a shower. Meanwhile, she goes and opens the chest. She takes out a handful of gold. She puts it in a platter. When he comes out of the shower, she tells him, look, someone brought gold. And automatically this person's nafs changes. He starts smiling, he starts laughing. Now he wants kebab and he wants a Pepsi and he feels good about himself. He's so connected to this world, so connected to this world, and shaitan placed so much greed in his life that with the day that he died, neither of his family members were with him. He died, and 3 days his body laid in his house, and when they found his corpse, they saw that cats had ate his whole body. Why? Because he did not want to give a penny to his own son and daughter, or to those needy in the city, or even spend on the shrine and the haram of the imam. And the last thing that he does is he puts negative thoughts about our religion and our faith in our heads. How? He comes and tells us, oh my God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so strict. He's so strict. Why can't I eat a burger from Burger King? It's just a burger. It looks good. I want to eat a burger. It's just one song. I'm just playing the violin. It's just the piano. It's not a big deal if someone sees my hair. It's not a big deal if I steal this from my friend, if I steal this from my job and my work. Why is it that everything is so difficult in our religion? Starts to make you think that your religion is hard, and putting negative thoughts in your head about your religion and your beliefs. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So these are some tactics of Iblis, some of the tactics of shaitan. Now, if an enemy is visible, it's very easy to go up to him and punch him in the mouth, break his jaw, and the end of the deal. But if he's invisible, as shaitan is, and the Holy Quran tells us that we cannot see him and his forces, it becomes very difficult. The Holy Quran says, إِنَّهُ يَرَاكُمْ هُوَ وَقَبِيلُهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا تَرَوْنَهُمْ. Him and his soldiers and his minions can see you, but you cannot see them. What does this mean? He's invisible. He's a stealth fighter. He's a stealth assassin. You don't see him. But when the time that you think you're alone, in your bed, in your room, mom and dad are sleeping, there is no one there, and you're alone with your phone. There is no one there to see your text messages, no one to see your tweets, no one to see what you're watching or what you're listening to. That's when he strikes. That's when he places his fatal blows. When you're alone, a boy and a girl, and there's no one there. You are alone in a room, there's nobody there, no parents. The hadith says that if a boy and a girl got together and they are not related, the third of them is shaitan telling them, yes, yes, get closer, do this, do that. He strikes when we are alone. He strikes when we do not expect him. He strikes because he's invisible. We cannot see him. We think to ourselves, our parents aren't here. They can't do anything. The police isn't here. He can't do anything. Qabil thought to himself, our father Adam is not here, so he killed Habil. And so on and so forth, brothers and sisters. You know the examples. You know the troubles. When you are alone and how much temptations shaitan places in your heads. Shaitan places in our heads. Do this, say that, watch this, listen to that. Take this money. And this is how he works. This is how shaitan attacks us. This is some easy information for us to know our enemy, so we can put a shield up, we can protect ourselves. We know how he's attacking, so now we can protect ourselves and shield ourselves. He puts out the temptations, like we said. His way of attack is the temptations. He lures us in. Very similar to when someone goes fishing. How many of us have been fishing here? When you go fishing, you gotta put nice bait, a nice juicy worm for the fish to come and bite on your rod, on your hook. You put a nice juicy fish, a fat worm on the hook, you throw it in the water. The fish comes by, she looks at the worm, she says, oh man, that looks so delicious. That looks so juicy, that's such a fat worm. And then she sees the hook, she says, oh no, now I gotta swim away. He gives her some more rope, now the worm comes again in front of the fish. Now she's tempted. Now she can't run away. And inevitably, she takes a bite. She takes a bite, the next day, we are eating her as sushi. At a sushi bar. It's a nice salmon, tuna sushi roll. But this is what shaitan does to us. He puts the temptations out there, and then he waits as bait for us to come and be hooked by the bait and by the temptations. We have never felt a punch or a kick by shaitan when we're walking or sleeping or even committing a sin. His attacks, we don't feel them, but the hadith says that he is running through our veins without us even realizing. He's there to seduce us, to tempt us to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There used to be a man in Bani Israel. He worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for 60 years. He was mustajab al-da'wah. His prayers were answered. So when people had ill people in the community, they would take him to him. They say, pray for him. And he would pray. He would place his hands on their heads and he would give them shifa and healing. He had miracles. He had knowledge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given him power. He's been worshiping Allah for 60 years in a cave. He has not ate haram. He has not committed a sin. He has not looked at anyone that he's not allowed to look at, or a scene he's not allowed to look at, or music that he's not allowed to hear. He's not ate a piece of haram food. He has not brought haram food into his stomach. He is pure. Until one day there were 3 brothers. These 3 brothers had to go to a battle. They had no parents and no family members in the city. So they thought to themselves, where else is safer than the house of this worshiper? We take our sister to this worshiper and she will be safe there. This man is honest, he is clean, he's a scholar, so we'll take him there. They take their sister to this man, to this worshiper, and they tell them, we're going to keep our sister here. We're going on a voyage. It might take 5 months, 6 months, or a year. We're going on a conquest, and we'll come back, and then we'll take our sister back home. So they leave. This worshiper lived on top of a cave. In the bottom of the mountain, there was also another cave that he had made as a room. So he places this girl all the way at the bottom of the mountain. Every morning he would bring her food, he would place it by the door, he would go all the way to the top of the mountain and then scream, your food is ready, run back inside his cave so he doesn't see her, because she was the most beautiful girl in the city. So Shaitan comes to him. Shaitan comes to him and he tells him, why do you just leave the food behind the door? Just go and hand it to her. Be nice. This girl is lonely. Say salam to her. Say something to her. She hasn't seen a person in 2-3 months. So he says, okay, I'll be a nice gentleman. He goes down. He takes the food inside. And he says salam. His eyes fall upon her. Now he just stands there staring. What are you staring about? Shaitan comes to him again. Why are you just standing there? Open a conversation. You're bored. You've been living in a cave for the past 60 years. So he says, no. He runs back upstairs. The next day, Shaitan comes to him. Iblis comes to him. He tells him, well, if you don't want to go down, call her outside her place and you sit on top of the mountain and you could communicate and talk to her. Go give her her food. So they start talking for days and months. She's on top of the mountain. She's on the bottom of the hill. And they're talking. And all of a sudden, the distance becomes much shorter. Much shorter. To a point that he commits a sin. And she becomes pregnant. She becomes pregnant. Shaitan comes to him again. He tells him, you got her pregnant. Her brothers are warriors. They're going to come and kill you. So might as well kill her, kill the baby, and bury them. And when her brothers come by, tell them that your sister became ill and I had to bury her. So the brothers come by after a couple of months. He tells them that your sister became ill and I buried her. This is her grave. Recite the Fatiha, ma'a salawat, and leave. They come, recite, they go back home. They go back home, sleep. Shaitan comes to them in their sleep. He tells them, you guys are foolish enough to believe that man, that your sister just became sick and she died. This is what happened. They wake up, each one of the brothers, the eldest one says, no, I do not believe. The youngest one says that I need to go see for myself. All 3 of them go back to the cave of this man. They go dig in front of the room of that girl and they find a baby and a child. A child, a baby, an infant, and their sister killed. Now they bring him. They crucify him. They crucify him as a means of death. When he's on top of the cross, Shaitan comes to him. He tells him, do you want me to end this? You want me to end your misery, free you from this crucifixion? He says, yes, of course. You're the one that got me into this mess. So get me out of it. He says, bow down to me. Worship me and I will end everything. He's on top of the cross. He bows down. He brings his head down. He worships Shaitan after worshiping Allah for 60 years. Moments come by and he becomes a person who worshipped Shaitan and then he passes away from this world. This is in Bani Israel, but a person like Ali ibn Abi Hamza al-Bata'ini, who used to be the direct representative of Imam Musa ibn Ja'far alayhi salatu wassalam. Musa ibn Ja'far, we know, spent most of his time in prison. So where would the Shia take the money? They would take it to Ali ibn Musa al-Bata'ini, to a point that he had mountains of gold. And that was the way Shaitan tempted him. When Imam Musa ibn Ja'far passed away, it was time that he went and gave all this wealth to Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Rada. Shaitan came to him and told him, why give the money to Ali ibn Musa al-Rada? You are a scholar, you are a powerful man, you are the representative of Musa ibn Ja'far, you're a celebrity, and you have enough money to live as a king. To live as a king. So he denies the imamah of Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Rada, and he starts a whole sect by the name of Al-Waqifah. He starts a whole sect. He says that Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Rada is not an imam. And we saw this in the life of the Ismailis, Muhammad ibn Ismail, who only believe in 6 imams, and then Al-Waqifah, who stopped by the name because of Ali ibn Musa al-Bata'ini. He was looted by wealth and gold and silver, and he denied the divine position of Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Rada. Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Rada is sitting in his home. Ali ibn Hassan al-Washaq comes to the house of Imam al-Rada. Imam al-Rada tells Ali ibn Hassan al-Washaq, oh Ali ibn Hassan al-Washaq, do you know Ali ibn Hamza al-Bata'ini? He says, of course, how do I not know him? He was the first secretary of your father, and he was the wakil, the greatest wakil of the Imam. Wakil Am of the Imam. In every single aspect of the Imam's whereabouts, Ali ibn Hamza al-Bata'ini was the representative. He tells him, oh Ali ibn Hassan al-Washaq, Ali ibn Abi Hamza al-Bata'ini has just passed away. They have just placed him into his grave. And the Malakan, the Malaks, the 2 angels have come to him into his grave. And now as I am speaking to you, they are asking him, who is your Lord? He said, Allah. They asked him, who is your messenger? He said, Rasulullah. They asked him, which is your book? He said, Quran. Your first Imam Ali, Imam al-Hassan, Imam al-Hussein, Imam Zayn al-Abidin, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, Imam Musa ibn Ja'far. And then he stops. He cannot speak. As much as he tries to say Ali ibn Musa al-Rada, his mouth does not work. Imam al-Rada tells Al-Washaq, and at this moment the angels strike him with a whip of fire, and the fire will extinguish him and burn him until the day of judgment. Until the day of judgment. One simple mistake. If you're hooked, if he throws that bait of temptation for you, and you make a sin large enough, he will control you, he will destroy you. These stories are there for us to learn from. There was a man by the name of Bal'am bin Ba'ura, also at the time of Musa ibn Imran. Bal'am bin Ba'ura used to be as knowledgeable as some messengers and prophets. He used to have so much information that at times there were tens of thousands of rabbis sitting under his pulpit. People would see him also as equivalent as a prophet. Like we hear the stories of Khidr alayhi salam, of how knowledgeable he is. Bal'am bin Ba'ura used to be just as knowledgeable. Musa ibn Imran sends him as a representative to the people of Madian. When he reaches the people of Madian, Palestine, tell him, we will give you all the gold in our country. We will make you the richest man in the world. Just leave Musa ibn Imran. Leave him. You will be our leader, you will be everything. Whatever you say, we follow. Just leave Musa ibn Imran. He says, he has sent me as a messenger. Allah, shaitan, he starts to think about everything. I will become a rich man, I will become powerful. I would become as powerful as Musa ibn Imran. A whole nation behind my back. So he says, give me time to think. He leaves on his mule and he starts thinking between Allah, shaitan, Allah, Jannah, paradise, and gold. To a moment he chooses gold, power, and dunya. He goes back to the people of Madian and he starts to tell them all the whereabouts of the people of Musa. He becomes the greatest enemy of Musa ibn Imran. Brothers and sisters, we have to be aware how shaitan will come attacking us, how he will try to end our lives in this dunya. He will try to end our eternal homes, change them from paradise and Jannah to eternal punishment. We go through similar stories. We go through similar obstacles. Every single day of our lives, we go through similar tests. One test that I want to tell the youth about is when you get a call by a friend and they tell you, let's go to a kickback. It's just a kickback. There's only a few of us. There's a couple of us, 4 or 5 of us. It's nothing big. And that's the bait that shaitan throws for Muslim brothers and sisters. The first time when they tell you, come on, let's go to a big party, your nafs says, no, I can't go. I can't go to a big party. I'm not allowed. But it's the small things, the little things that he throws for us as bait for him to get a hold of us. First time you go to a kickback and they tell you, come on, just a little drink. You take that drink, you see nothing happen. Your dad wasn't behind you to smack you. Nothing happened. You went home, you slept. Nobody found out. So the next time you go to that big party, the time after you go to a club, and then you start drinking, and then you get caught up with this life, and you get caught up with the ways of shaitan and iblis. It's that simple thing that gets us and destroys us. So what do we do? What is the solution? This is the last story, and then inshallah we will conclude the majlis. We learn from the life of Sheikh Murtada al-Ansari, a scholar, well-known scholar for the Shias. Every single Hawza student till today studies his book. I studied his book 4 years out of my life. A man sees shaitan in his dream. He sees shaitan to have so many different sizes of ropes. He sees a thin thread, a thicker rope, chains, huge chains. So he asks shaitan, what are these? Why do you have so many different sizes and forms of ropes? He says, for some people, all I need is a little thread to pull them in and wheel them in. For some people, if you see, like when they go catch tuna fish, you need a much bigger rod and much bigger thread for them to bring that tuna fish into the boat. So here's a bigger rope for that bigger person who's a little bit more pious. He's a little bit more closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some people, I need a chain. So he looks and there's a chain broken in front of shaitan. He tells him, why is your chain broken? He says, I threw that chain yesterday in the neck of Sheikh Murtada al-Ansari. As much as I tried to pull him towards me, I couldn't until the chain broke. He says, okay, how about me? What do you pull me in with? He says, I don't even need a rope for you. I just do this and you come running. So he goes and he tells Sheikh Murtada al-Ansari, what happened yesterday? He says, yesterday I did not have any food for my family. Me and my family were hungry. My kids and children were crying of hunger. I had 1 dirham of Sahma Imam. the money that belongs to the Imam of our time. I looked at the dirham. Can I take this as a loan from the Imam? I'll pay the Imam tomorrow. Should I take it? Should I not take it? And at the end, he decides to say no. And he throws the dirham away. Brothers and sisters, the only solution with shaitan, the only way with shaitan is just to say no. There's nothing else. You can't wrestle him. You can't try to fight him. The only way is to turn around and walk away. The only way is to turn around and say no. That's it. They call you, let's go to a party. No, I can't come. Let's go do this. No, I can't come. Let's go eat this. No, I can't do that. No is the best answer Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. It's the best weapon and the best protective system that you can ever have, I can ever have against Iblis and Shaitan. And that was the words of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam when it came to the seduction of Yazid. Yazid said, I will give you wealth to Imam Hussein. On the 10th of Muharram, Umar ibn Sa'd came and called upon Qamar Bani Hashim. He told him, your mother is Kilabi, we are Kilabi, you are of our family, come, we will give you wealth, we will give you prestige, just come on our camp. You and your brothers. He says, Hayhat, no, I cannot do that. I will not sell my akhirah for this dunya. I will not accept the invitation of Iblis. I will not be invited to the temptations of shaitan. And that is why Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam sent his beloved cousin Muslim ibn Aqil to the city of Kufa. Aqil passed away when Muslim was a young man. So Muslim ibn Aqil lived in the household of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam. So he became a knowledgeable man. He was a grand ayatollah. He truly understood the ways of Islam, the ways of Rasulullah, the ways of Ahlul Bayt, to a point that when he was in the city of Kufa, he had the chance to kill the governor of Kufa. They brought him into the house of Hani ibn Urwa, and they told him, oh Muslim ibn Aqil, this is your chance to kill him. But Muslim ibn Aqil refused. He says, this is not the ways and the teachings of Ahlul Bayt, even though they are our enemies. But we do not kill from the back. We do not backstab people. And he let his enemy walk out of his house, Ibn Ziyad. He let Ibn Ziyad, the person who was the cause of his death, walk out of his house. This shows how pious this man was, how religious this man was. If we were in the footsteps of Muslim ibn Aqil, would we have not taken the life of Ibn Ziyad? He is the reason why Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam in his household became martyrs. Wouldn't you take the life of Ibn Ziyad? We wouldn't hesitate. But Muslim ibn Aqil, because he lived by the values of Ahlul Bayt of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, he let Ibn Ziyad leave the house of Hani ibn Urwa. Muslim ibn Aqil enters the city of Kufa. All the people of Kufa come to greet him. There are 30,000 people there greeting him. He enters the masjid. The news reaches Yazid. Yazid changes the governor as soon as Muslim ibn Aqil reaches the city of Kufa. He brings Ibn Ziyad, a person who historians say only in the city of Basra killed 500 innocent women. Drank and intoxicated himself on daily basis. Yazid places him as a governor in Kufa. Ibn Ziyad, how does he enter the city of Kufa? Because now the people, they are trying to revolt against Yazid. He wears a black imamah. He wears a black turban. He walks inside the city of Kufa. He wears a green turban. People are thinking that he is another representative of Imam Hussein or the son of Imam Hussein. They give him refuge. He goes to the palace. He tells them to open the doors, and now he is in control. He starts to send his soldiers out looking for Muslim ibn Aqil. Now, Muslim ibn Aqil is in the house of Mukhtar. The news reaches him. He leaves the house of Mukhtar and he goes to the house of Hani ibn Urwa for refuge. Ibn Ziyad sends his troops. They go and capture Hani ibn Urwa and they take him into confinement. Muslim ibn Aqil takes those 30,000 to go and retake Hani ibn Urwa. To go and take this great man, this religious and pious man, to take him from Ibn Ziyad. Ibn Ziyad starts to send people with money within the 30,000. Every single one of them, shaitan throws bait for them. Muslim ibn Aqil turns around and there is no one around him, brothers and sisters. Muslim ibn Aqil is a stranger in the city of Kufa. He's gharib. He's a stranger. He looks around. There was no one there. He starts walking in the streets of Kufa until he reaches a doorstep. There's a woman sitting by those doorsteps. He tells her, Assalamu alayki ya amat Allah. Peace be upon you, O the servant of Allah. Then he tells her that he is thirsty. Ya amat Allah, ana atshan. I am thirsty. Can you bring me some water? She goes and she brings him water. Taw'a, this lady, this pious lady, this religious lady, this lady of paradise. She goes and brings him water. Muslim ibn Aqil drinks the water, but he still stands by the doorsteps of this lady. Taw'a looks at him. She tells him, oh man, don't you have a family to go to? Muslim ibn Aqil starts to cry. He tells her, oh ma'am, no, I don't have family here. I don't have family here. My family are in Medina. I am a stranger here. She goes into the house. She doesn't know what to do. Nightfall has come. There's a strange man sitting at her doorstep. She's a single mother with a daughter in her house. This does not look good for their family. She goes and she sees her daughter crying. She tells her, oh my daughter, why are you crying? She says, it's because I saw that man cry saying, my family, my family. Oh Hussein. She goes outside. She tells him again, you should not be sitting at my doorstep. He tells her, oh ma'am, oh Taw'a, can I ask you for a favor and I will return your favor on the day of judgment? On the day where everyone will need a favor. She tells him, why? Who are you? He says, I am Muslim ibn Aqil. I am from the family of Rasulullah. I am the nephew of Amir al-Mu'mineen. I am the cousin of Hussein. I am the nephew of Hassan and Hussein. She tells him, come into my house. It's the greatest of honors for Muslim ibn Aqil, the son of Aqil, the family of Rasulullah, to come into my house. May Allah curse the people of Kufa. Muslim ibn Aqil goes into the house of Taw'a. He spends that night praying and supplicating to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This man by the name of Taw'a, she had a son that shaitan also deceived. He had heard that Ibn Ziyad had placed the commission of 10,000 golden coins for the head of Muslim ibn Aqil. He comes and he sees there is a strange man in the house of his mother. He tells her, "Oh mother, who's in the house?" Out of joy she says, "The household of Rasulullah." He says, "Yes, I have found my bounty." He goes to Ibn Ziyad and he tells Ibn Ziyad. Ibn Ziyad sends his troops. Muslim ibn Aqil gets his sword ready. Before I tell you the continuation of the story of Muslim ibn Aqil, I want to tell you the story of his sons Muhammad and Ibrahim. These two orphans, when Muslim ibn Aqil passed away, they were captured. They spent a whole year, these two orphans, one at the age of 12 and one at the age of 9, behind bars. The prison guard was the old man. Every day he would bring them water and 2 pieces of bread. They told themselves that because we are here, might as well fast. These 2 little kids would fast. The children of Muslim ibn Aqil would fast. One day, they told this prison guard, "Oh prison guard, don't you see us? We are little kids. Why are you placing us behind bars? Doesn't your heart break for us? Do you know who we are?" He tells them, "No, we don't know who you are. I don't know who you are." They say, "We are the sons of Muslim ibn Aqil." He starts to cry and he lets them go from the prison. He lets them go from the prison and they start running away from the prison until they reach the river banks of Al-Furat. They fall asleep by the river bank. There's a lady, she comes and sees these 2 beautiful orphans. Their faces shine like the moon. She takes them into their home. She takes them into their home. She washes them, bathes them, feeds them. And this lady also had a cursed son. Subhanallah. The household of Muslim ibn Aqil, none of them stayed. His daughter was trampled and killed on the 10th of Ashura by the horses. And his sons, when they eat and finish, this lady also had a wicked son. He comes into the house. He sees 2 children in the house. He asks them, "Who are you?" They say, "We are the sons of Muslim." He takes them to the river bank. He takes his sword with him. He tells them, "Which one of you would like to die first?" Muhammad, the older one, says, "Take my life first, because I don't want to see my younger brother Ibrahim witnessing that you behead me before him." He starts to take off the head of Ibrahim in front of Muhammad, and then he takes off the head of Muhammad and he throws their body into the river bank. Muslim ibn Aqil is taken after he fights courageously to the castle of Ibn Ziyad. He is hit so many times that his teeth, all of his teeth were broken. When he's entering the castle, he sees a jar of water. He tells the guard, "Please give me some water." The guard tells him, "La wallah, I won't give you water. You will die a thirsty man." A young man comes and brings a cup of water to Muslim ibn Aqil. Muslim ibn Aqil puts the cup of water to his mouth. The cup is filled with blood. Muslim pours the water. Again, he takes another cup of water. He puts it to his mouth. The water cup is filled with blood. He pours the blood as if Allah is telling him, "Oh Muslim, Hussein will die thirsty. The household of Rasulullah will die thirsty. Ali al-Asghar will die thirsty." Muslim ibn Aqil leaves the water. He goes to the courtyard of Ibn Ziyad. Ibn Ziyad starts to curse Ali ibn Abi Talib. They start debating. Ibn Ziyad orders his troops to take him to the top of the castle. He turns away to Medina and he says, Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. The people of Kufa have betrayed us. And they cut off his head and throw him down from the castle. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين.